Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. I hope you are enjoying this hot summer series during this hot summer of 2024, and today is the fourth class of this series. As you can see, the topic it is on para jumbles. Thus far we have had a couple of classes on number system and one on LRDI. So para jumbles is an integral part of CAT verbal ability. Not only in CAT, but you find parajumbles in other exams also, like you have in NMAT, NMAT, okay, and other examinations. And there are certain set of rules that one must keep in mind while solving these questions. And the interesting part in CAT is these are type and type answers. You do not have options for it. So in this video, we are going to solve some questions on parajumbles, and please comment your score at the end of the video and see how much you scored in this test. So if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media platforms. This is the schedule of our hot series. It started on 1st of June and will go on till 30th of June. So today on 4th of June we are having a session on parajumbles. In case you are preparing for CAT and are looking for a structured preparation, we have a batch running for CAT, and if you use the code HOT, you can get 20% discount on it. And in this you have live classes and you get the recordings of those classes, and you get topic wise practice sheets. There is a doubt resolution group of enrolled students. You will get full length and sectional tests for CAT, and we shall also assist you in GDPI preparation. So in case you are interested in the same or know someone who is looking for a structured online preparation, can enroll in it. So the links are given in the description of this video. Now when we talk about parajumbles or sentence rearrangement, there are certain common clues. These are some hygiene factors that you need to keep in your mind in order to attempt the questions. So first and the foremost thing is, at times you might be able to find obvious opening and closing sentences. Like closing sentences would be like summary sort of thing. Okay, obvious opening is, let's say, introduction of some topic, definition of some topic, okay, and maybe introduction of some term, etc. Now this is not necessarily present in all cases, but if at all it is present in some of the cases wherein you find a closing sentence or an opening sentence, you develop the link. Names and short forms. Now remember in mind that if a name has been given and a short form is given, so suppose it says World Health Organization, and another sentence is WHO. Okay, so this will come first, this will come later. Why? Because first of all they should describe what does that short form mean. So if a short form is used and a full word is the expansion of that is used, so the full form will come first, the short form will come later. Pronouns and their antecedents. This is also one of the most common clues, that if a pronoun is used, right, if the pronoun he is used, so it would generally relate to some person who has been mentioned before. Now it is not necessary that in each case it will happen. Sometimes it might be, see, parajumble is basically a part of a paragraph, so it is not necessary that it is taken from the beginning of the paragraph. So there could be 4 sentences from the middle of a paragraph, and it could just have only the pronouns also. But if at all a name is used and a pronoun is used, so name, then it is followed by pronoun. Similarly, you find demonstratives, this, that, these, those. So you need to find the connection in this case. Like what is this referring to? What are these? Like these kiske liye aa gaya hai? Right? Those, what is it referring to? Similarly, his, her, my, their, possessives. You need to find a connection of these. They must be connected to something which has been mentioned before. Then there are linking phrases which are important in RCs as well, and you must understand that what do they mean. Like for example, on the other hand, this cannot be a beginning sentence. On the other hand means that is a contradiction. So if something has been mentioned before, it is contradicting a previous point. Similarly, however is also contradiction. However means it is something opposite which has been said previously. So you need to match the idea, like whatever is mentioned after however, it has some idea presented, and there must be some sentence which says the opposite. So the opposite one, and then the sentence starting with however. Moreover means additional point. So some point has been given, point number 2 will start with the word moreover. In addition to, so again additional point. Therefore is a sort of conclusion. Similarly, words like also. Okay, also will happen only if something has been mentioned before. So also is not something a starting sentence. So something would be mentioned and also will add another point to it. So if you add another point, if you make a contradictory statement, or you conclude some idea, these are some of the very commonly used words. Then chronology. Okay, so if some data is given, let us say some talks about 1870s and then another statement talks about 1890s. So definitely this will come first and this will come later. Then there are certain other formats like question and answer. Question comes first followed by answer, right? No one will give the answer first and then the question. Similarly, if a passage talks about problem and its solution, so problem will be stated first, solution will be stated later. Then point and example. So if a statement talks about some example, first of all the point should be mentioned. So point explained through example. So this will come first and this will come later. So if you have these clues in mind, some or the other questions could be easily done with it. And however, there will be some cases wherein none of these things will work. So it is a guess game there. So let's practice some questions on para-jumbles, and at the end you comment in the video that how many of these questions you got correct. So as a ritual of this series, pause the video at every question, solve the question and then look at the solution and then evaluate yourself. So let's start, and before we start, don't forget to like this video. So this is the first set. So we are given 4 sentences. You need to tell the order in which these sentences will make a coherent paragraph. So Kepler exploded the field by proposing that all orbits are conic sections. This became increasingly complex and difficult. Astronomers working under the geocentric Ptolemaic framework calculated planetary orbits with a series of increasingly complex epicycles. These are motions in which bodies orbit one another using intricate patterns of circles about circles. Okay, so we need to find this order. Now, if you look at a couple of the sentences over here, if you look at let's say so Kepler exploded, right? So like so is used if something has been done and Kepler is adding something to it, like there is something like he exploded the field. Exploded the field means he went deeper into the field. So it means there has been something which has already been mentioned previously. So this cannot be the starting sentence. Similarly, this became, what became, we will have to figure out. These are motions. What are these? So by easy guess we can say that third is the first sentence. So we will start with 3. Astronomers working under the geocentric Ptolemaic framework calculated planetary orbits with a series of increasingly complex epicycles. Okay, now if you talk about, it talks about that they have some complex epicycles. Now if you look at these are motions, this became increasingly complex. This is not becoming complex, but this is talking about certain motions of planets. Okay, so these are motions in which bodies orbit one another using intricate patterns of circles about circles. Okay, so fourth should be ideally the second one. And this became increasingly complex and difficult. So this refers to the planetary motion, and Kepler exploded the field by proposing that all orbits are conic sections. So this is an outlier. I mean, this Kepler's mention is something that is a conclusion to it. Like astronomers, they worked on this framework and they calculated planetary orbits, and then it explains, fourth sentence explains that these are the motions in which bodies around orbit around one another in a circular motion, and it says integrate patterns of circles about circles. So this makes things complex, and that is why Kepler came up with this, all orbits are conic sections. So this is the correct order. Let's look at the next one. That said, Doty notes that modeling is tricky work with several big questions involved. The researchers found that a tipping point could occur when local average temperatures rise by about 4 degrees centigrade, but how quickly this feedback escalates remain unclear. For one, scientists know that photosynthesizing leaves cool the air around them, so as they die off, neighboring leaves temperatures rise more rapidly. Okay, so if you look at this, that said, Doty notes the modeling is tricky work and with several big questions involved. So it does not, if you try to see this, that said means something should have been mentioned before. Okay, so it does not look like a starting sentence. The researchers found that a tipping point could occur when local average temperatures rise by about 4 degrees centigrade. This could possibly be the opening sentence, but how quickly this feedback escalates remains unclear. So is there any feedback mentioned over here? So if you look at the fourth sentence, it says, for one, scientists know that photosynthesizing leaves cool the air around them, so as they die off, neighboring leaves temperature. So photosynthesis is a process in leaves. Okay, photosynthesizing leaves, what they do is they cool the air around them, and as they die off, neighboring leaves temperatures rise more rapidly. Okay, so this there is a process in which the neighboring leaves of these photosynthesizing leaves, the temperature rises. Okay, and then if you look at this feedback, any feedback that you can see in this chain. So if you look at this sentence carefully, this is the feedback that is happening. What is feedback? There is one process and the outcome of it. Like, so there is a feedback that the leaves cool the air, and when they die, the neighboring temperatures rise more rapidly. So this is a feedback that they is talking about. So 4 is connected to 3. There talks about one feedback. Okay. So now if you look at the other two sentences, 2 looks like the opening sentence, isn't it? We will have to arrange one in this. The researchers found that a tipping point could occur when local average temperatures rise by about 4 degrees centigrade. That said means that something has been mentioned in the previous sentence, and it agrees to the previous sentence. So if it makes sense to connect first with second. So that said, it refers to the temperature rise. So temperature rise, because of this temperature rise, Doty notes that modeling is tricky work with several big questions involved. Now if you look further, it says several big questions, and for one means one such question. So it says several big questions. Okay? There are several questions around this process, and one such question is about photosynthesizing leaves. So the right order is 2, 1, 4, 3. So this looks like an obvious opening sentence. Okay, then that said refers to the temperature rise that is happening, and then this mentions that this must be a name of a scientist, and he says that there are several big questions for one. So for one means it refers to one of those questions that are mystery for science, and this is the explanation for that, and this feedback refers to that the temperature rising due to the photosynthesizing leaves. So the correct order is 2, 1, 4, 3. Next, sure, We admire the achievements and legacy of these lofty few. Now, again, if you read this sentence, these lofty few. So these will refer to some people, okay, or like some person or object. But it's a puzzle to determine precisely what launched these specific innovators into the stratosphere. Okay. Yet decades of yet. Now yet is something which is a contradiction. Okay. So if you read it further, it says decades of research indicate otherwise. Exceptional talent. So it means that exceptional talent or intellectual prowess is no guarantee of exceptional achievement. So this research is giving this. That means something which is mentioned before should be on. It says that talent is no guarantee of exceptional achievement. There should be a sentence which should say that talent leads to achievement. It says that talent is not related to achievement, right? It says yet the research says. It means there should be some sentence which says talent is directly connected with achievement. So if you read further, the simplest answer. So answer means there should be some question. Now look at the last sentence. A few creative individuals, often labeled geniuses, have profoundly impacted science, culture and society. So this clear cut is the starting sentence. Okay, it talks about these people who are geniuses, right? All others do not appear to be the opening sentence. Clearly fourth is the opening sentence. It talks about these genius people, right? These are creative individuals. They have impacted science, culture and society. So that is the first sentence. Now if you look at these lofty few, lofty means something which is at a higher level. So these lofty few means that the genius people. So lofty few here refers to these genius people. Okay, so the four sentences connected to the first sentence. Okay, so now if it says that but it's a puzzle to determine precisely what launched these specific innovators into the stratosphere. So when it says puzzle to determine, what is puzzle? Puzzle is a question, right? You get puzzles in DILR. Those are the questions. So if this is the question, then you should have an answer also. So this is the question. The answer is in this sentence, the simplest answer we take for granted. The root of genius is raw ability. So it says that genius is raw ability. Yet is contradicting this. इसे contradict कर रहा है. It says that genius is raw ability, but it says that exceptional talent or intellectual prowess is no guarantee of exceptional achievement. So this is contradicting the idea that genius is not just raw talent. It is not related to like research shows that exceptional talent is no guarantee of exceptional achievement. So first it says that genius is raw ability, but later on the research suggests that it is not just raw talent which is a measure of exceptional achievement. So the order is 4132. Let's look at the next one. These are shorter sentences. An instructor can correct your pronunciation. A tutor can show you where you went wrong on a math problem. If you start beekeeping with the help of YouTube but produce no honey, that's a clear sign something went awry. One way to ensure you are advancing is through feedback. Even self-guided learning has feedback built in. So it talks about feedback, right? So these two sentences talk about feedback. Now let's read these sentences. An instructor can correct your pronunciation. A tutor can show you where you went wrong on a math problem. So what is feedback? Feedback is when someone tells you that you have made this mistake, right? You need to improve on it. So it is a feedback. Okay, now let's see which sentence can be connected with one. One way to ensure you are advancing through is through feedback. Even self-guided learning. Is it a self-guided learning? ये self-guided है, instructor is present, tutor is present. So it is not self-guided. ठीक है? So self-guided वाला feedback नहीं है. So it means 3 is connected to 1. एक pair है 3 1, right? It says that one way to ensure you are advancing is through feedback and instructor. So it shows how. So what did I tell you? That you need to look at the point and then the example, right? So this is the point which the author mentions. This is an example, right? Example is instructor is correcting your pronunciation, tutor is showing you where you made math mistakes. Okay, now if you look at the second sentence, it says if you start beekeeping with the help of YouTube. Beekeeping is an art of keeping bees, right? How to keep bees, how to extract honey out of it. Okay, but produce no honey. So if you learn through YouTube but do not produce honey, that's a clear sign something went awry. That means that you made a mistake in beekeeping if you are not able to produce honey using a beekeeping. Now if you look at this self-guided learning, isn't it self-guided learning? आप लोग YouTube देख के पढ़ रहे हो, that is self-guided learning, right? In case there are some students who just watch YouTube videos and learn things, right? DIY concepts, right? Not only just learning about some competitive examinations, about anything. You watch videos and you try to replicate the same. You watch cooking videos, you start cooking something. A person watches beekeeping using YouTube and is working on it, right? So that is self-guided learning. So self-guided learning is this. So 4 is connected to 2. Now we need to think that should it be 4231 or 3142. Now when you see this even self-guided learning, even कब use होगा? Even, what does even mean? Even does not mean even number. Even means that it is adding to previous point. Adding to previous point. So we say na ki even I am interested in it, right? It means there is some person who is interested, I am also interested. So even basically means also, like it's a synonym of also. Also said, so it means that the opening sentence is this: one way to ensure you're advancing is through feedback. Then an example explaining it, that how does feedback, example of how do you learn through feedback, right? Because if a tutor corrects you, instructor corrects you, so you will improve, right? Now it says that even self-guided learning has feedback built in. Even if you do not have any tutor, if you are learning by yourself, that means you will get feedback on it. So then again an example. So point and example. So the order is 3, 1, 4, 2. So point followed by example. Alright, let's look at the next question. So this is a lengthy one. So it talks about construction of some palace. Constructed over the course of 33 years, 40 foot tall, 85 foot long palace. It's talk about some palace. Okay, so a palace should be mentioned. As a mail carrier in the late 1800s, Fernand Cheval spent much of his time delivering mail to some of the most rural outposts of southeastern France. Inspired in 1879, so someone is inspired, he began collecting. So he refers to this person Ferdinand. Okay, he often stumbled upon beautiful rocks. So it gives a clear cut indication that 2 should be the starting sentence, right? It talks about some person, a person who used to deliver mails, a postman, okay, in the late 1800s. Okay, so the first sentence is 2. Okay, now 3 and 4, he says that 3 says inspired he began collecting enough materials to build some palace ideal. So it's a French word, so palace might be meaning palace in English. Okay, और ये palace की यहाँ पे बात हो रही है, right? Now inspired from what, right? He is delivering mail, is he getting inspired from it? Or if you look at the 4th sentence, he says he often stumbled upon beautiful rocks and stones in his travels. So he gets inspiration from these. So after 2 we shall have 4. Okay, so he used to deliver mail, and when he used to he used to visit different places, he used to encounter beautiful rocks and stones, and then he got inspiration from this and he started collecting materials to build like palace ideal. So he wanted to build a big building on a family plot in the countryside outside of Lyon. So Lyon is a place in France, and then constructed over the course of 33 years, it refers to this palace is mentioned over here. So that is the order. It was an easy one and I'm sure you must have got it right. So I hope you are enjoying these sessions thus far and learning something new for yourself. So please don't forget to like this video, and if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. Let's move on to the next question. So now we have some lengthy ones, not the easier ones. So let's look at this passage. It talks about advantages to the patron are manifold, immediate assistance at the time of need, richer communication. So it talks about some advantages. Okay. Chat reference allows for real-time synchronous communication with a reference librarian. That these same advantages, although this looks big, but connection is very easy. Okay. When it says the same advantages, okay, same advantages exist for the reference librarian. So there are two parties that get advantages. First is, when we say these same advantages, that means advantages for someone else also. So this is the first people who are taking advantage, the patron and the reference librarian. Okay. So 3 will follow 1. Now there are 2 more sentences. Chat reference allows for real-time synchronous communication with a reference librarian. Chat reference is not without its challenges in terms of communication and management, and there have been many articles written recently that address is the implementation of chat reference services. Now one thing you need to understand, that you need not understand each and every part of the paragraph, right? You do not need to understand what it exactly means. You just need to understand in what logical order can be arranged. So when it talks about reference librarian, okay, और यहाँ पे भी reference librarian आ रहा है, so it should have been like, see, if you look out of 2 and 4, this looks more like a opening sentence. Second reason here is, like when we say about challenges, okay, so remember that अगर किसी में advantage और challenge दोनों डिस्कस किए, so usually this is the flow, that advantages comes first and challenges are mentioned later. Okay, so advantages will come first and challenges will be discussed later. So the order would be 2, 1, 3, 4. Now even if you do not understand what exactly is written in the passage, you don't need to worry about it. You just need to understand that in what order these sentences should be there. So this discusses about chat reference. Okay, it allows for real-time synchronous communication with a reference librarian. So there must be some chat reference in which you communicate with a librarian. Okay, and then the advantages to the patron are manifold. Advantages of what? Of chat reference. Okay, these are manifold. This talks about the advantages. Then it says these are the same advantages exist for the reference librarian. So advantages for both parties. And then 4 talks about it. It is not without its challenges in terms of communication and management. And there have been many articles written recently that address the implementation of chat reference services. So the order, advantages, and then followed by challenges. So 2, 1, 3, 4. Next one. So this is related to TikTok. Maybe some of you might have used the app. It's quite hot these days, so please keep yourself hydrated, okay, and do not step out of your house unnecessarily. So it says this paired with rapid rise in visibility in the culture, this paired with something. Okay, so there has to be something which should have been mentioned previously. Okay, so that is definitely not the starting sentence. TikTok, where videos play and loop automatically, displays various numbers, likes, comments, bookmarks, shares, prominently helping to create TikTok's sense of ambient shared growth and acceleration. So TikTok is an app wherein videos play in loop. So it displays several numbers, likes, comments, etc. that help that it shows growth and acceleration of your content. Okay. Now if you look at this, this paired with rapid rise in visibility in the culture. So what is paired with this? these auto playing videos, so it is not again auto playing videos came with their new public matrices, omnipresent and always climbing. So this also does not like to appear to be the opening sentence, right? Opening sentence ये भी नहीं लग रहा. This paired with rapid rise in visibility. TikTok, where videos play and loop automatically displays various numbers. The more recent arrival of TikTok sent visible metrics into a period of hyperinflation as well as heightened visibility. Now, if you monitor sentences 2 and 3 carefully, okay, what does sentence 3 say? Sentence 3 says that recent arrival of TikTok, okay, sent visible matrices into a period of hyperinflation and heightened visibility. So there are some matrices, that means some numbers, okay, numbers like likes, views, comments, etc. Okay, so it is explaining a topic that arrival of TikTok, what did it do? It increased these matrices. Hyperinflation means they increased significantly as well as heightened visibility. So more numbers, more is the visibility. Now then it describes, it talks about what has happened, okay, what happened and how it happened. So what it happened was TikTok came and it increased the visibility, and then it gives example that how it happened. It displays these numbers and likes, bookmarks, share prominently, helping to create TikTok's sense of ambient share growth and acceleration. So 3 should be followed by 2 because 3 talks about a recent phenomenon that has happened, that there is an app called TikTok and it has increased the matrices. And how does it increase? It has a loop video and it displays several numbers, etc. So this is further addition to the point mentioned over here. Okay, these auto playing videos and this paired with its rapid rise in visibility drove its competitors. So competitors किसके होंगे? TikTok के, to launch TikTok style features. Okay, so now TikTok became famous, right? TikTok came up with this idea of showing likes, comments, and it increased its growth, and this with its rapid rise in visibility in the culture. So now this TikTok brought a culture and that drove its competitors. So the competitors started launching TikTok like apps. Okay, so like style features like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. So TikTok was the first one to do it, and then others copied him, to name a few. These auto playing videos here it refers to Reels, Shorts, Snapchat Spotlight, etc. came with the new public matrices. So they have new matrices. So TikTok started with some matrices. Now competitors made similar apps with new matrices, omnipresent and always climbing. Omnipresent means they are present everywhere and are growing rapidly. So the correct order is 3, 2, 1, 4. Here's the next question. Seen this way, dogmatic systems of valuation can find their real content in our finite world while dropping their alienated form. Seen this way. Okay, this way. How way? Which way? Okay, so some way has to be explained previously. Okay, then if you look at the next one, it talks about similarly the Christian passion. So similarly, that means something has to be there. Christian passion for ethical perfection is an strange expression of grief. Okay, now if you see, for example, the transmigration of souls, part of Buddhist cosmology. Now if you see something, now even if you do not understand this religious philosophy, no need to worry about it. ठीक है, ये क्या कर रहा है, कुछ क्रिश्चियंस के बारे में कह रहा है, ये कुछ बुद्धिस्ट के बारे में कह रहा है, ठीक है, एंड सिमिलरली कह रहा है. सिमिलरली मीन्स दैट इज अ सेकेंड पॉइंट. सेकेंड पॉइंट मतलब सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल हो सकता है, राइट, सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल. सो फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल कौन सा? दिस वन इज द फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल. सो वी विल गेट second sentence after third. So third sentence gives one example, for example. Now before for example there has to be some theory explained. Okay, so which sentence gives that theory? By discovering their basis in life, Simmel de-sublimates religious doctrines that place ultimate meaning beyond this world. So it talks about some religious doctrines. Now this gives an example of it. So 4 talks about this some person right? Simmel, he de-sublimates religious doctrines. So religious doctrines, this is the example of it. Okay, ultimate meaning beyond this world. So what are the meanings? Like Buddhist cosmology, beyond the world. Okay, right? It talks about this cosmology. Then again, Christian passion for ethical perfection. Okay, so that is again beyond, does not exist in this world. ये कह रहा है कि ultimate meaning beyond this world. Religious doctrines, religious philosophies beyond this world. Then this is an example, example 1, example 2. Okay, and then seen this way, dogmatic systems of valuation can find the real content in our finite world while dropping their alienated form. So it talks about the conclusion of this, right? So this way, seen this way means how we see these dogmatic systems, religious dogmatic systems, they find their real content in our finite world while dropping their alienated form. So it talks about that something is beyond this world, right? So this is the correct order. So even if you do not understand the passage, do not understand the philosophy, that is perfectly fine. You just need to understand in what logical order can you place these sentences. Let's look at the next question. This is an easy one. I told you one thing in the beginning, that if a full form is used and the short form is used, so the full form sentence should come previously. Like for example, in it says that in its primary sense the Indian knowledge system, and rest of the sentences you see IKS, IKS. So definitely this will come before 2 and 3, because IKS, it has explained what is IKS. Okay, and if you look at the fourth sentence, it says this approach. Which approach? Right, this means clearly first is the opening sentence, because यहाँ पे IKS mentioned है. It says what is IKS? Indian knowledge system or Bharati Gyan Parampara seeks to transmit ancient knowledge and traditions into modern context for appropriate integration in contemporary applications, right? So what does it do? It transmits ancient knowledge. So Gyan Parampara or knowledge system, it is transferring that knowledge into modern context. Okay. Now if you look at the next sentence, however, what distinguishes in its holistic perspective, ठीक है, distinguishing से पहले कुछ और देखते हैं. Indeed encompasses a broad spectrum of works. Okay, so it talks that there are broader tasks to it. Last sentence, see, it says this approach means what? This approach is of transmitting these ancient knowledge, entails acknowledging the wisdom of the past, drawing inspiration and lessons from it while preserving India's rich heritage. So it talks about Indian knowledge system, and what does it do? It transmits ancient knowledge, and this knowledge is how it, what does it include? It includes acknowledging the wisdom of the past, drawing inspiration and lessons from it. Okay, so 1 and 4 makes sense. Now, indeed, IKS encompasses a broad spectrum. Broad spectrum means it is not limited to some other things. It has many more. You could say that. Field of exploration, right? So this talks about the approach of IKS, Indian knowledge system, and it encompasses a broad spectrum of works. So this is some part of the work. It has even broader tasks. Okay, that can be viewed through the lens of both sciences and spirituality. However, what distinguishes in its holistic perspective, where neat categorizations are often transcendental. So 2 is something which is contradictory, right? It talks about distinguishing of IKS from it distinguishes from its holistic perspective. Okay, so the correct order is 1, 4, 3, 2. Next one, it says that psychoeducation, known as mental health education or mental health literacy, is a method of teaching what mental health is, why people might develop mental illness, and how these illnesses can be prevented and treated. Now if you see that sometimes the paragraphs might be long sentences, so no need to worry about it. Just keep those factors in mind. Now if you clearly see, first it appears as the starting sentence because it is describing psychoeducation. It can also include sharing actionable psychoeducation, incorporates components of group therapy. It was originally developed to support. ठीक है. Now if you see it, so ये psychoeducation को refer कर रहा है. Now if you look, third sentences talks about psychoeducation and first also talks about psychoeducation, right? Now if some topic is explained, right, if you try to explain something to someone, the first thing is you would define it first, right? Definition come first, or something that it talks about incorporates components of group therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy and is frequently used by psychiatrists and therapists in clinical settings. Now it talks about what it incorporates. What does it include? It includes group therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, CBT and group therapy. But definition ideally comes first. ना पहले define करोगे what is psychoeducation. So this looks the opening sentence. It can also include sharing actionable strategies for coping with symptoms and crisis, both acutely and preventatively. It was originally developed to support patients with severe mental illness such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder and their families. So now this becomes a tough one. Okay, it really becomes tough one. Okay, and because you do not see clear cut connectives in this. So how do you decide that what is the order? So first, one thing that we have decided is first is the opening sentence. It can also include, it of course refer to psychoeducation. Okay, now if you look at this, it can also include, so it should describe something included in psychoeducation. So if you look at the first sentence, it talks about psychoeducation. It talks about that it's a method of teaching what mental health is. Okay, why people might develop. So it talks about what does it include. Okay, it can also include. So one connects with two. Okay, 1 and 2 make a sense. Or 1 and 4 could also make sense. It was originally developed to support patients with severe mental illnesses such that schizophrenia or bipolar disorder and their families. So this one it can also include sharing actionable strategies. So it includes some items and some strategies here. So first is basically it talks about it defines this, and then it talks about that what this include, and it was originally developed to support patients. That looks like a more instead of 2 it should be 4. That fits better because it says psychoeducation is known as mental health education, then it was originally developed. So this is definition. definition followed by origination, historical origination. Okay, then it talks about like it says incorporates components of group therapy. So it includes certain things. Incorporation means it has certain things being included in it, and is frequently used by psychiatrists and therapists in clinical settings. It can also include, so it means also include means something it should include. So some inclusions are given here. So 1, 4, 3, 2 will make the best sense out of it. Okay, so definition is the first and foremost. Now if you look at this, it can also include versus it was originally developed. So it was originally developed should come first, because history आप पहले बताओगे, right? Like you define something, then you tell the history, that why, how did it come into place, and then what does it include. So history would precede what it includes, and when it says it can also include, it can also include means something it already includes. So these are the things that it includes: group therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and it also includes actionable strategies for coping up with symptoms and crisis. So this is the correct order. Okay, so this was this practice session on para Jumbles. Do comment your score, that how many, so we did 10 problems in this. How many of you got 10 on 10, or what was your score out of 10? Please comment and let me know in the comments of this video. And in case you are preparing for CAT and are looking for a structured course, you can enroll in our CAT batch. So here are a couple of questions for you to answer in the comments of this video. So comment your score out of 10 and also comment the answers of these two in the comments of this video. So I hope you enjoyed this session. If you want to get the PDF of these classes, hot sessions, please join my Telegram group, wherein you get all these PDFs, all the hot sessions that we are taking on YouTube. You can get their PDFs and practice these questions for CAT. So thanks for watching this video, and keep watching this series further for more videos. I've already shared the schedule for all 30 days. So do watch these all 30 videos, and they will definitely boost your CAT preparation. They will enable thought process in you, how to tackle questions in different sections of the examination. So thanks once again for watching this video. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.